just address that immediately. First and foremost, normally in the past, we have not addressed that, and it's been unfair. In the past, you see things such as raw achievement scores. If I do an achievement score, if I simply say, what did this child score in the 4th grade LEAP exam, and then I base things around that, that is inherently unfair. Do you know, for example, I can roughly predict what someone's ACT score is based on 3 factors: parents' income, parents' education level, and the number of books that child had in the home when they were growing up. Because ACT, and likewise a lot of test taking, is predominantly reading, and reading is highly, highly, highly influenced by outside school factors. And you know that as teachers, right? So that's the second thing. Oh, small aside, math isn't. It doesn't matter if you're rich or you're in poverty. Apparently, everyone starts math very poorly. Don't know why that is. Still trying to figure that one out. But I'll tell you this. It's not about achievement. It's not about a snapshot. Because my concern is, I think back to one of the classes I taught, I had a wonderful student. Always did all the work, would do 110%. And she was a very bad test taker. I don't know what it was. And it wasn't even multiple choice tests that she was bad at. It might have just been a stress thing. I knew she could read very well, and I knew that, she had comprehension, but I worried that it may have just been something psychological that she couldn't get over. Should I be concerned about that student? In the previous system, I would, but I'm not, because we're doing growth. The bottom line is, if a child is the type of child that doesn't try, that's a habit, right?
Yeah.
So that's a habit they're going to do year after year after year. Just like if they're a bad test taker. If you're a bad test taker in 8th grade, doesn't mean you were a great test taker in 7th grade, right? And you weren't going to be a great test taker in 6th grade. So the way these systems work is they chart growth. And so if the student scores poorly on the previous year's test, or in the future, as you'll see, in the benchmark exams, then you're just comparing that student to what their previous progress is. Instead of looking at what they're scoring on the test, we're changing the paradigm to look at how much are they growing compared to themselves. Now, and you start hearing a lot of buzzwords in education, right? You start hearing a lot of mantras, a lot of cheerleading. And so you kind of have to deconstruct that. All children can learn, and that's true. They're going to learn at different rates, and learning, the end product, will look different, okay? But the bottom line is that all students can improve in your class. And it doesn't matter what they have in their home life, or etc. They can show some improvement, provided a safe, orderly, structured environment that is conducive to learning. And there will always be exceptions, but they usually kind of see themselves out. You know what I mean? Either they get placed in alternative school, or you will not be held accountable for their progress or lack thereof. And we'll talk a little bit more about those provisions later. But excellent question that really kind of gets to the meat of the issue, I would say. Any other questions?
What was the statistic?